met a homeless man on the street. He passed away in a warehouse fire that was deliberately lit.
I was raped.
Abused by two grossly inoffensive staff members, discrimination and vilification towards people with disabilities.
The record is falsified, evidence is removed.
It was a betrayal, it was an injustice of social equality, it was an injustice of gender equality, it was just an injustice of everything.
Okay. Hello and welcome to the Injustice series. I'm your host Janelle De Silva, and today we're joined by our first married couple. We've got Gary and Monica. Hi. And we're joined by Matt as well.
Hello.
Hello and welcome.
Thanks. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Thanks for coming and sharing your stories of injustice today. Gary, can you tell me what your story of injustice is?
From a tender age, Gary and his siblings were predisposed to violent and troubled adulthoods. Where so many statistics and experts would propose that abuse at an early age would breed later abusers, Gary and his siblings are shining examples for breaking cycles of violence and raising a better future for, and in part derived from, his love and dedication to family and caring. Today, Gary reminds us that together, with love, friendship and camaraderie, we can overcome the odds and enjoy a better world of our own creation.
Well, I grew up in Horsham, and my father was an abusive alcoholic. There's no easy way of describing it. He'd work as a carpenter, and he'd go to the pub straight after work and bring alcohol home with him. And always, as I said, always drunk. He'd only just glance at him as he walked in the door, and out would come this leather strap about so long, about so wide and about so thick, and 5 tails cut in the end about so long. And if you weren't quick enough to get out of his road, you get thrashed. Now, I've got 3 other brothers. Well, I did have 4. We all copped it at different times. We burnt it, we threw it away, kept coming back. But he eventually got killed in a car crash in Dandenong. Went through a stop sign as per normal, drunk, and that was the end of it. But my mother actually forced me to go to his funeral. All I could do was look in the coffin at him and good riddance, you mongrel. And not one of my brothers or myself has ever laid a hand on our kids, and we've never drank to the excess either. So I disagree with a lot of the so-called experts that say that if you're brought up in an abusive relationship, you continue it on. That's not true.
Thank you, Gary, for sharing your story of injustice.
You're
Can you tell me, how was justice served, or how could have justice been served in your story?
Well, that's a hard one, because back in the 50s and 60s, people sort of didn't want to know about it. The only avenue that I had open, or I thought I had open, was bring myself to the notice of the authorities. So I kept wagging school and doing silly things to just make sure I brought the notice on us, and eventually it did, and ended up in a boys' home. So I got down there and went to school in Sale for a few years, and eventually tracked down where my mother was, and we all ended up back together. But the justice, I think, was served when he finally killed himself in the car accident.
Gary, how old were you when you were placed into the boys' home?
11, and I was in the boys' home till I was 16. So at that stage I found out where Mum was, and that was with the help of the person that was in charge of Kilmaney Park. He done some searching and what have you, and arranged for me to go on holidays with a family on a dairy farm at Tatura, which is about half hour out of Shepparton. And we all went into Shepparton for shopping, and I went to the swimming pool. They dropped me off to go to the swimming pool, and I decided to have a walk through a couple of shops. And walking through the coal store, and I looked at this lady, and she was about to ask me what the hell I was looking at when she realised who I was. It was my mother. So things just went from there. So I had a rough idea she was Shepparton area, but that's all I knew. Within 12 months, all of us were back together. So, and she was with another guy, and he became my stepfather. He eventually married her, and he was more of a father to me than my own father ever was. As far as I'm concerned, he is my father, even if he's not biological.
Gary, what would you say to our viewers about people who experience domestic violence and alcoholism in the family?
Talk about it. Tell someone. Don't keep it hidden. It does nothing to keep it hidden. You need to talk about it. Talk about it and bring it out.
It's quite remarkable that yourself as a boy in the 50s, growing up, took justice and the law into his own hands to seek help.
Well, I didn't know who to turn to at that thing, so what do? You just go ahead and do what you think is right. So, and this I haven't really spoken about without except any close people. And today was just a fluke that it was mentioned that I've been here and whether I'd talk about it, and I thought, well, why not? No sense keeping it bottled up. And
yeah, would you say breaking the silence is one of the biggest things we can do?
Yeah. If you talk about it, bring it into the open, then people know when there's things that can be done. Now, sometimes it may not be for good, but the end result will probably work out better.
Would you say in your marriage that a problem shared is a problem halved?
Yes, it is. We actually get on quite well together.
Oh yeah, we work things out together. And it's better to work things out together than work things out alone.
Well, I could say a few other things there because when Monica and I got together, we both sort of shut ourselves off, but the walls come crumbling down a bit quick.
It's so beautiful to have you both here today, and I'm sure you could share many stories, and thank you for being so honest and open with what you've been through, Gary, and Monica, how you've been able to support Gary through that. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gary, for sharing your story today.